Hello and welcome back to the Follow Your Spark podcast. It's your host, Gina Casbarro, and I'm coming on today for a special solo episode all about self-concept and identity and why who you believe yourself to be matters way more than having the perfect plan in your life. So, if you are someone who has a big dream, whether that's you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to create a thriving business, or you want to have deeper, more connected relationships in your life where you want to be able to share yourself honestly and bravely and courageously and let go of people pleasing, or whether you're someone who wants to share your art more boldly in the world or create events, whatever it is, if you have a dream like that on your heart that you've been trying to figure out, how do I do this? And it feels so hard. This podcast episode is for you, my friend. I want to talk about this today because this was one of the biggest insights that came out of the Shine Your Light activation that I hosted recently, that participants came away with, was this understanding that it required a new identity for them to be able to step into this version of their lives, of themselves that they wanted to be, create, experience. Because the hardest part about achieving our dreams, of creating a reality that didn't exist before, isn't figuring out how to do it and what are the exact steps that you need to take in order to create it or manifest it. It's about believing you're the type of person who can. Believing you're the type of person that happens to. You're the type of person that lives that life. You are the type of person who is able to create a thriving business or have the most amazing, magnetic relationships of your life, or who's able to have tons of free time and do things you're passionate about and rest and take time off with ease. You are that type of person. So that's the biggest challenge, creating this new identity for yourself. Because this is what I see that happens. My clients come to me and they have some kind of dream. I have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of trailblazers, a lot of visionary women who come to me that have this desire on their heart, and yet they feel this resistance. And there's some part of their brain that's screaming, no, I couldn't possibly do that. I'm not that type of person. I don't have the right experience. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make it happen. And what people often think, consciously or subconsciously, there's the beliefs that, okay, I actually can't. There's just that dream that I have is actually not possible for me. Other people can do it. Other people can become entrepreneurs. Other people can have amazing relationships, but me, that's just not in the cards for me. Maybe there's a belief that you're missing some kind of skill set, or you don't have the right experience, or you don't have the right knowledge, the right degree, whatever it is. There's something inherently missing that you need to acquire in order to be that person. Or there's a hyper focus on the how. If I only had the perfect plan, if someone only told me exactly what to do, then I could just do it and then I would get the thing that I want. That must be the key, but that's not the key. And the solution is also not, let me just force myself to do it. Because again, so often my clients will want to take steps. They have this dream and maybe they want to build a business and they think, okay, I need to post on social media. I need to share these things, but there's this tension and they are not doing the things that they said they're going to do. And they might think, oh, the answer is just like willpower. I just need to bite the bullet and force myself to do it. I just need to sit down and make this happen. And I just need to make myself move forward. I need to push myself to move forward. That must be the answer. I just don't have enough discipline. I don't have enough commitment. If I did, that I would just do it. But why doesn't that work? That doesn't work because it's like you're constantly pushing a boulder uphill. If part of your brain is telling you you're never going to make it, you're not the type of person who builds a thriving business anyways, this will never work for you. You're not capable of having amazing relationships. Like, all of your relationships always fail. Who are you kidding? If those thoughts are in the back of your mind as you're trying to take steps forward, it's always going to feel hard. It's always going to feel exhausting and draining, and you will eventually run out of steam and then add evidence to yourself of, oh, see, I'm not that kind of person. I always knew I wasn't that kind of person. It just must be because I'm defective and there's something inherently wrong with me. So you're just adding evidence to the belief system that you already have. So, what's the answer? Part of the answer is you begin to build a new identity for yourself, a new self concept that believes you are that kind of person. And while this is not the only thing that makes a difference to help you bring wild, amazing dreams to life, it is what I believe to be one of the 5 keys that makes the biggest difference. That's why in the Spark process that I use with my clients, it is one of the foundational tools that I practice. And in this Spark process, this is about Phoenix mindset, building this new self-concept and this new identity. And the Phoenix mindset, if you can connect to the energy of the Phoenix rises from the ashes. No matter what challenge or obstacle shows up, they always come back to life. They die and are reborn again and again and again and again. They believe they can recreate themselves. That's what this mindset is about. It's about focusing on why you are capable instead of why you aren't. And I know that when you have deep-seated beliefs about what you think is possible and what's not possible for you, it can feel like a stretch to all of a sudden try to tell yourself, oh, for sure, like I'm this person. Of course I can build this thriving business. So you can build these beliefs one step at a time, even beginning to consider it's possible I could become that person. Maybe I'm not that person now, and I believe that I can grow. I believe that I can change and evolve. It's about building this new self-concept, one thought, one belief, one feeling at a time. And again, this goes beyond just our thoughts. We have so many superpowers available to us. The mind is one way that we can transform our identity and how we see and experience reality. It also matters how you feel, tuning into your body wisdom, tuning into your intuitive wisdom. There's so many tools available to you to access to begin to become a different person, to build this new self-concept that goes, again, beyond the thoughts. How does that person feel? How does that person dress? How does that person act? How does that person respond to challenges? What does that person's home look like? It goes so far beyond just what we think. Okay, so let me give you some examples of how this might show up. And I want you to think about these fill in the blank sentences and see what comes up for you. Have you ever thought, I'm not the kind of person who, what? Fill in the blank. I'm not the kind of person who would do that. I'm not the kind of person who would be able to create this. Or how would you fill in the sentence of, it's hard for me to, it could be, it's hard for me to learn new things. It's hard for me to make changes in my life. It's hard for me to build new habits. Fill in the blank. It's hard for me to what? Or I'm the kind of person who struggles with this. I'm the kind of person who always struggles with relationships. I'm the kind of person who is really bad with money. I'm the kind of person who can't prioritize my time. Or I could never blank. I could never leave my corporate job. I could never start a business. I could never speak up in this relationship. I could never risk something. What are those thoughts? And just beginning to notice them. And this is so powerful because so often we're not aware of the things that we tell ourselves because we tell ourselves those thoughts so many times that we just believe them to be true. It's like stating the weather of it's sunny outside is the same way we think about I'm terrible at planning. There's some part of you, if that's you, there's some part of you that feels like, yeah, that's just the truth. I'm terrible at planning. I can find all this evidence about where I've struggled to plan my life or how I suck at calendaring or whatever it is. I'm terrible at managing my time. I always get distracted. All these thoughts are things that we believe about ourselves, and they impact the actions that we take. They impact our experience of life. They impact who we believe ourselves to be, and therefore the reality that we experience. Because our thoughts create our reality. So what we think about ourselves, what we expect that we can do, we find evidence to support that. So working on your self-concept can change everything. And I've seen this again and again with my clients recently. In examples like one of my clients wants to grow her business and she believes that she needs to share on social media in order to do that and get the word out about her services and offerings. And she's been struggling to move forward. And at first she just thought, well, I just need to do it. I just need to make myself do it. Like I said before, just that willpower. I just need to show up. I just need to do it from pressure and force and all of these things. Versus we started exploring, what does she need to believe about herself? She needs to believe that it's safe to be visible and that no matter what happens, no matter how people respond, she has the capacity to take care of herself. She needs to believe she's the kind of person who's willing to feel uncomfortable emotions if she knows that it's in service of her getting to step into her purpose. She's the kind of person who's willing to feel uncomfortable. She's the kind of person who's willing to feel nervous, who's willing to feel disappointed, who's willing to feel confused. Any of these things are okay because she is willing to feel them in order to take steps forward to share herself with the world. She needs to believe that she has valuable gifts. She needs to believe that her work is transformational. She needs to believe in herself as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a CEO, and begin seeing herself that way and asking herself, what would that version of me who believed all of this, who has the thriving business, what actions would they take? How would they feel about themselves? How would they feel about their clients? How would they feel about their potential clients? How would they be showing up? And begin acting like that person, thinking like that person, feeling like that person, dressing like that person every single day. And we talked about how what's way more important than posting on Instagram this week, I said, if the only thing that you do is get yourself in this vibrational state of connecting with this person, that is way more important to me than if you do or don't post on Instagram this week. And what I asserted would happen is that when you do get into that state of that person, connecting to yourself as that person, connecting to why it's so important to share yourself and share your gifts, that will inspire action when you really get into the essence of that person. So you won't have to figure out what's the right Instagram post to create. What should I say? What should I do? You'll be in this vibrational state where you will be inspired and creative and willing to take risks and see what actions come from that place. So it's about getting into the self-concept, the energy, the vibration, the essence first, and then seeing what actions there are to take. And I could go on and on with examples. Another one of my clients had the belief that she's bad at executive functioning. She's not good at managing her calendar, managing her schedule, and she found all kinds of evidence of why she wasn't good at it. Versus when we started exploring, how is it true that she actually is very organized, very capable of creating schedules and executing things and managing all kinds of information? And she began to find evidence and proof of how that was true. And that inspired her to take new actions and create a whole new structure for herself and her family, where she was able to use these skills in new ways and also build the belief of, I'm capable of learning new skills. I'm capable of finding solutions that work for me. I totally am that kind of person. And another client who's also building a coaching business and had been a stay-at-home mom and had thoughts and this self-concept of herself of that's who she was. And she was being called to create events for people and had different professional opportunities showing up in her path. And at first, that voice in her head was saying, oh no, you can't do that. You're not capable of that. You don't have any valuable skills or wisdom to offer these people. And as she built a new self-concept and a new identity of, I'm a powerful coach. I have incredibly valuable skills to offer. I'm willing to experiment and see what happens. I know this work is going to be so valuable for people. I'm so excited to create events and see what happens and offer these gifts to people. And she started believing that about herself, and she started taking new actions. And all of a sudden now she's creating events with ease and serving people in bigger and bigger ways, because that's what's possible when you create and adopt a new self-concept and identity for yourself. And I've seen this so many times in my own life. When I was on my year-long road trip back in 2021 to 2022, I was on a podcast about 3 months in. Someone was interviewing me on their podcast, and she asked me, if the trip was to end today, what is the biggest thing that you would take away from this experience? And I said, the biggest thing that I would take away from this experience is that I am so much more capable and resourceful than I could ever imagine. Because there was no way I could get a degree in taking a year-long road trip. There was no person that I could ask for advice who had done what I wanted to do, because this dream was very unique to me. And I had to believe that I was capable of figuring it out. I was capable of doing it and being this person who could navigate a year on the road solo. And there's no way I would have pursued this dream if I didn't believe I was capable. If I didn't believe that I could navigate any challenge or obstacle that showed up in my path. And even though I believe that at the beginning, that helped me get started, and being in action and following through on that belief helped me reinforce that identity so much stronger. And that's what's possible. That belief and action, they go hand in hand also. So as you do the thought work, as you embody the feelings of this person, that's when you can also practice finding evidence every step that you take. See, I am this person. I am this person, and I am stepping into this person every single day. So being able to reinforce these new beliefs, these new thoughts with every inspired action that you take. Okay, so how do you do this? How do you build this new self-concept or identity of yourself? One piece of this is thought work. It's being aware of those stories that you tell yourself, the thoughts like, I'm not the kind of person who fill in the blank. I could never, blah, blah, blah. I'm bad at blah, blah, blah. Catching those thoughts, having awareness of those thoughts, and beginning to rewrite new beliefs and beginning to find the evidence for why you are that kind of person and build up those new thoughts one at a time. So thought work is one of them. And when it comes to rewiring the brain and rewiring our identity, we can do that in multiple ways. Other ways are dropping into the feelings, tuning into how does this person, this future self, this new identity, how does this person feel? What's the energy and essence of what they embody? What do they look like? What do they dress like? How do they stand? How do they walk? And embody physically those characteristics and begin to practice those feeling states. So how do you do that? You can do that through meditation. You can do that through meeting this future self version of you, imagining this person through guided meditations and experiences, and seeing that essence, experiencing that essence, and then seeing how can you bring that into your life little by little. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm wearing this dress. You can't see all of it, but I'm wearing this dress that I got when I was on my year-long road trip. And I wore this dress when I was in California, in LA, and I got invited to be interviewed on someone's YouTube channel. And they had this professional videographer. It was this like whole thing, this whole day. So when I was thinking about how do I want to dress? How do I want to show up? I tuned into this self-concept of me, this identity of someone who had this thriving business, who is a leader, who has something powerful to share, who believes in the vision and mission that I'm here to offer the world. And when I tuned into what they look like, this dress helped me embody that. The shoes that I wore, the belt that I wore, all of these things helped me drop into the essence of this person. So thought work, feeling work, how you dress, how you act, the house that you live in, what you surround yourself with. And you can also do this through movement and embodiment practices, through dance, through being able to bypass the limiting beliefs and all of the critical thoughts, the mental chatter that we can have that try to tell us, oh no, we're not that person. We can drop into a more feeling state in our body. We can do that through dance and through activating a vision for what we desire and connecting to the person of you who's capable of bringing that to life and moving that vision, moving that energy out into reality through your body, through your hands, through your feet, through how you move your hips, through all of that. We have so much energy inside of us, and it can be unlocked and unleashed through movement. And when you drop into practices like this, that's a perfect opportunity to tune into your intuition, tune into your creativity, ask for messages from your future self, from this new self concept, and see what wisdom do they have for you? What guidance do they have for you? And so often these messages are super simple, loving, direct, and clear, and can feel so reassuring to hear, so powerful to hear. And the more that we practice that, the more we connect to that feeling state, the more we connect to the essence of that person that we want to develop the identity around, the more we follow their guidance and wisdom, we become that person one day at a time, one step at a time. And that's why I am so passionate about sharing this work, because when you transform what you believe you're capable of, that's when you can share your gifts in incredible ways. That's when you can create more loving relationships in your life. You're willing to be bolder. You're willing to show up honestly. You're willing to have hard conversations. You see yourself as someone who's capable of navigating challenges and obstacles, and all kinds of new possibilities open up to you. And that not only transforms your own life, it impacts everyone around you, because you're sharing your work, you're creating a new vision of what's possible, you're bringing things to life that didn't exist yet. And other people get to be on the receiving end of that magic and witness you in your fullest expression and authenticity. And that often gives other people their permission and encouragement and inspiration to do the same thing for themselves. And the ripple out impact of that in the world goes on and on and on and on. And that's why I created the Shine Your Light activation. And again, where a lot of these insights came from, people realizing that self-concept is so important in being able to transform their lives. And even though it happened already, the recording is still available and it is transformational. We go through so many of these practices that I share: future self meditation, journaling, dance, movement, creativity, intuitive practices. It is so much more than a workshop. It is truly an activation that can be a catalyst for you to change your life. And we go deeper into what are the things that are getting in your way. Like I said, this is just one piece of the puzzle. And we explore what I believe are the 5 most important keys that can help you live your most authentic, inspired life and overcome those obstacles, overcome those challenges. And Phoenix mindset is one piece of the puzzle. So you'll learn what are the other simple tools that can be most impactful and transformational for you. So if you want to get access to this recording, it's only going to be available for a limited time. Go to ginacasbarro.com/shine your light. Scroll down, there's a form. You just drop your email, say Shine Your Light in the contact form, and you will get access to this recording. So if this speaks to you, head to that website, drop your email, get access, and then do it, right? Because it's not going to work if it just sits in your email. So actually take yourself through this experience and give yourself this gift of this sacred time and space, this date with yourself, to step into and begin creating a new self-concept, a new identity, and give yourself permission to dream bigger than ever before so that you can shine your light brighter. And I also created this at this particular moment in time because we are in the middle of eclipse season. If you're into astrology, you might know that eclipse seasons are known for being very transformational times, for catalysts for change. They often bring up things that can be healed, that can be transformed. Sometimes they can feel very chaotic, and they are incredibly powerful, potent times that we can work with their energies in a really intentional way to be a catalyst in our lives, to step into our next level. So that's why doing this now, I believe, is even more powerful and potent than any other time. So head to the website, ginacasbarro.com/shine your light to get access. What I believe is possible through this work is so much growth, so much evolution, being able to create a life that feels wildly different than what you experience now. And things that used to feel impossible all of a sudden become accessible. And you start dreaming bigger dreams because you see yourself as someone who's capable of change and growth and evolution. And you know that even if you're challenged by something right now, that doesn't mean you're going to be challenged by that thing forever, because you are someone who's capable of learning, of growing, of evolving. You are someone who's capable of bringing those dreams to life. That if there's a dream on your heart, it's because it's for you. It's because it's possible for you. And it starts by believing you're the kind of person who is able to create that. All right, my friends, I hope something in this conversation resonated with you, and I'm sending you so much love. Talk to you soon. Bye.